Powered by Riverside.
It's the Dynasty front office, and we are building you championships one trade at a time.
This is the trade banger of the week, the deal that's too good, too bad, or just too wild not to talk about. If you've got a trade that shook up your league, send it our way. It just might be next week's banger. Hey, guys.
What's up?
Nothing much, man. Got a good one this week. So, this is not a listener email. We got a few in this week, but I'm just gonna come clean. This trade went down in my home league. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was fantastic all around, really interesting, and I just wanted to talk about it with my buddies a little bit. Is that okay?
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
This is a good one.
All right. So the first part of the trade, Team 1, they receive the 101, the 102, and Malik Nabers. Team 2 receives Jayden Daniels, Ashton Genty, and Colston Loveland. Now, a little bit of the backstory here. Team 1, they are like in a full-on kind of blown up rebuild. They blew everything up, not this past year, but the year before, and they've just been kind of selling high on every big piece that comes their way, or something that turns into a big piece, it's been fun to watch their team grow, but they're kind of accumulating a ton of picks. I think he's got, in the next 3 years, I think he's got something like 13 picks or something like that in the first round. It's crazy.
Nice.
Yeah, and Team 2, they're pretty much looking to retool, I think, for next year is kind of what I feel, what I get the sense for a little bit. But, yeah, anyways, I thought the trade was interesting. 101, 102. Obviously, I think those picks kind of speak for themselves right now with, Mendoza and Love, and Malik Nabers. He could have a little bit of resurgence here, or it's likely to have a little bit of resurgence in my opinion. And then on the other side with Jayden Daniels, Ashton Genty, and Colston Loveland, these are all guys that are very, very high, highly thought of prospects, but also their values are incredibly high right now. So could be selling high. Mike, question for you, right? It's really interesting to me, the 101, 102 aspect, and then Ashton Genty, right? The immediate thought that comes to my mind is Love or Genty. And I think it's a really interesting question, seeing that Genty is maybe struggling a little bit this first year, had struggled a little bit this first year, but then also the cap space coming into the Raiders organization, the amount of improvement they're going to be able to go through this offseason. Which one do you prefer? I guess it comes down to that.
I guess so. It's kind of twofold. The way I look at it, right, is because right now it's assumed the 101 is going to be Mendoza, who is going to go to the Raiders. So like the offense will live and die most of the time by the quarterback, right? We saw JT with some of the struggles this year. So if Mendoza's good, which is maybe that 101 or that 102, and then by that argument, you could say that Genty could have a chance to excel, and if he's not, then he won't. So it's kind of interesting that like one team could possibly be affecting the other, right? And you could say the same way for others. But the unknown of where Love can go, and I know we talked about him a lot last week, I'd be pretty excited for Love, to be completely honest. Like, I think we saw some sparks from Genty, but until to especially to do it at this point in the offseason where there's no coach there yet, to kind of get a better idea of maybe what this organization is going to look like, what the offense is going to look like, maybe, or how they're going to do it. I'll take the boat. I'll take what's in the mystery box, which is Love, and who knows where he goes. It could be late first to one of these playoff teams that we're like, wow, great quarterback pairing. Whereas, with Genty, we can say we pretty much know, unless the Raiders completely flub it.
Ashton Genty.
He could be.
Yeah,
he could be.
Yeah, it's an interesting point because with us not having a little bit of questions about how that's going to turn out there, what team Love goes to, but also what the roster, what the coaching looks like in Vegas, and how bad it looked, this past year. Jesse, I guess your thoughts on that as well, but also, to that point, which scenario are you more scared of? The landing spot of Love potentially being subpar, or the situation with Genty going forward?
That's a good question. 50-50. I mean, we're dealing with unknowns because we don't even know who the Raiders coaching staff is yet. So we have nothing. We have no idea what to expect. I will say that I've seen Genty be successful in a terrible situation, not on a consistent basis, but he showed more than just flashes, right? So I guess to answer your question, more scared of the potential Love spot. It could be worse. Yeah. I just wanted some clarification real quick, Mike. You're saying Mendoza is the 101 in NFL draft or rookie drafts?
I mean, he's got both picks here. So if I'd be surprised if team one, who has the 101 and 102 in this situation, doesn't spend it, considering he's given up Jayden Daniels to get Mendoza and Love, which is kind of what we prefaced it with, right?
I do think it's important to clarify, though, that I'd take Love with the 101 in this draft.
Yeah, certainly.
And are you? And just a question for you, real quick: are you proud of me for actually answering the question that you asked?
Yeah, no, I really am.
It's really good, man.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised, and I thought as soon as Mike was done talking, you were just going to go into something. So, yeah, no, I'm really proud of you there.
It took some
Austin, Malik Nabers, right? This is a huge part of what Team 1's receiving here. 101, 102, good stuff, should be really good players. Malik Nabers, for me, that is like the key in this trade for him. Oh. Are you nervous about, number one, the injury? Because we have seen that maybe there's some room for some potential setbacks there, but then also on another side of that is the potential that the Giants go and draft another key piece at 5, right? They go and get another wide receiver, a highly thought of prospect that can maybe take some of those targets away, because Malik Nabers, the targets have been the key for him.
No, the second part, I'm not worried at all. I think Malik Nabers is a supremely talented player, so I'm not worried about him earning his target share. The injury is my question mark. I don't like seeing him. I think it's 10 weeks post-surgery and still on a crutch. That's not ideal. So if the health is there, no, it's a full go. If he was where, I guess, what medical professionals expected him to be 10 weeks post-surgery right now, then he would probably be my number one buy this offseason. Seeing that puts a little bit of hesitation, not a lot because of the age, but just a little bit. But no, I'm not worried about. I would prefer them bring somebody else, because NFL defenses are smart. They will figure out a way to bracket that player and limit valuable touches. He may still get, 15 targets in a game, but if only 7 of them mean anything, then you might as well just get 7. So I would rather them get Carnell Tate is a perfect pairing with him. Get somebody like that opposite of him and allow Nabers to still be the target hog, but you can't, put 3 players on him every single snap.
Yeah, that's fair. It's the trade overall, for me, it has a little bit of a balance to it that you don't really see in a lot of trades, where there's just so much risk on both sides, and the balance of risk, I think, is really important in a trade. I'm going to ask you guys which side you're taking, but I don't want to just end the segment there. I want to talk about it a little bit, because I think it is a really interesting and complex trade. But what side would you take, Mike?
I like the picks and Nabers. I think you're getting what could be a top 3 Dynasty RB, maybe top 5 at worst. And a quarterback, I think a lot of us really like what we've seen. So there's still a lot of unknown what Jayden Daniels is going to be next year, coming off the injury, the regression, new OC, interesting kind of situation there going on in Washington. So is he going to be as good as he was his rookie year? Like, probably not. But so, and then Genty, obviously, we're talking about the upgrade there, but to have an elite wide receiver over what some would say is the tight end 3, tight end 4. I think I'd rather have the wide receiver to be honest. I'm not saying it's like 101, for Genty and then 102 for Daniels or anything like that, but I think there's a huge gap between Nabers and Loveland for me, so I would take the team one side with the picks.
Yeah, I hear you there, and we'll discuss it a little bit more here. But Austin, just yeah or no, or one or two, which side you got here?
I'll take the players.
Okay,
so it's side 2.
Okay, Jesse, what do you got?
You're muted.
Playing Chad tonight. I'll take side 1 with the picks.
Well, I'm playing Jesse tonight, so somebody's got to play Chad, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty close to me. I think I go the picks as well. Really, really close though. What separates it for you guys? I guess, and let's just have a free-form discussion on it, just because I think it is a pretty interesting trade.
So for me, the most important part of this is your evaluation of Jayden Daniels. If you think that Jayden Daniels is a top 4 or 5 dynasty quarterback, you probably have to take that side. I don't have him quite there. To me, it's just outside of that. In fact, I have him below Justin Herbert. If I'm being truthful, he's had one successful season. It was a great season, but really only half of it was even elite, right? Because he started off that season with training wheels on. So it had a lot of potential and it looked great, but we see how easily it can come apart. And now there's a new offense coming in. So to just assume that he's going to be a top 5 quarterback and trade for it that way would be a mistake. And that's why I like the number 1 side, but it's still the same that I would not trade Jayden Daniels for the 102. Like I would rather have Jayden Daniels than Fernando Mendoza. Let's be clear about that.
Well, I mean, I hope so, because the opposite side would be Nabers and Loveland.
Yeah.
Right.
So for me, I look at this trade as the 101 or Ashton Genty. So Jeremiah Love or Genty.
Yep.
Sure.
I would prefer Genty. Everybody talks bad about him, but he had 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like on the worst offense in football. That's pretty dang good.
Yeah.
So you're telling me if they can get to league average, what can he do? Good Lord. I mean, 1,615 seems like a reasonable expectation if he's still somewhat the centerpiece of the offense, which I don't know why you wouldn't be. So I'm praying for, 1,310 would be a phenomenal year 1 for Jeremiah Love. So I'll take the guy I've seen do it behind what was one of the worst offenses in the NFL easily, and did what he did and not take the risk there. So for me, then it's Fernando Mendoza and Malik Nabers or Jayden Daniels and Colston Loveland. I'm a big Mendoza fan. We'll speak on that later on. Nabers, obviously, I've already gave him input, but Jayden Daniels does have that top 4 or 5 ceiling in Dynasty. There's no reason to say he doesn't. There are question marks, which is why he isn't currently. But we have no idea what Mendoza is going to do in the league. So that's a huge tier gap for me, just like Nabers and Loveland. Chad, what's the premium in the league?
It's 0.75.
Okay.
Oh.
So yeah, even more reason why. There's a real discussion that we're looking at a 1A tier Colston Loveland come August this time.
The only thing that gives me the pause is the injury for Nabers. If it was a full, clear, healthy Nabers, it would be no discussion.
That would alter it as well. But yeah, just with Daniels and Loveland feels better than Mendoza and Nabers. It's kind of how I looked at that. And so I lean the players that I've seen do it. And I am a little worried in Daniels. Again, I'll speak on that later on. But I'm going to have just as many question marks with Mendoza.
I disagree. See, I just would rather I think the ceiling on Nabers is so much higher than Loveland. Even just the positional value to me, as I'd rather have a top 3 dynasty wide receiver than a top 3 dynasty tight end.
I don't agree
And-
in a .75 league. They can absolutely outscore.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
in a much harder position to get production.
we're also Nabers is either top 3 now or will be by the start of the season. So
Assuming he's healthy.
assuming he's healthy. So and Loveland has a long way to go to be top 3 dynasty.
I don't agree with that at all. I mean, Keep Trade Cut currently has him there.
So, I was going to say a lot of people have
Really?
him at
So,
3
I
right
mean,
now.
That's
Yeah, I mean-
insane to me.
Well, I mean, what did he just have a 12 catch
Based on a
playoff
playoff.
performance?
Okay.
But he's been doing that the whole second half of the season. I mean, he has better metrics from week 8 on to the end of the season considerably than Tyler Warren.
So,
Yeah, but that's not fair though. Tyler Warren is
Well,
playing with Phillip
sure.
Rivers.
Sure.
Yeah,
I mean, for what, 2 weeks?
Chad,
mean-
bail me out here. He's arguing that he'd rather have Colson Loveland than Malik Nabers.
No, I'm not.
No.
That's not what
why I
I'm
feel like
saying.
That's not what he
devolved
said.
into.
But
Okay.
the argument is Mendoza and Daniels as well.
Yeah, I think the ceiling for Nabers is just so high. He could be dynasty wide receiver 1.
Yeah,
Of course.
Well, so Rivers played 3 weeks, and then before the 2 weeks before that, it was Daniel Jones. Extremely hobbled.
Right,
Offense just
Leonard
didn't.
too, right?
What's that?
Didn't Leonard play a week?
Yeah,
or
Leonard
at least
played the
half
week
a
before
game or
that,
something
and
like that? Yeah.
Yeah. But it was just really bad quarterback play, just because the circumstances. I think it's incredibly harsh to judge Warren based off of what was it, like week 12, week 13 on, because that was just
Well, I mean, I said week 8, but yes, I'm not even trying to do that. I'm still going to have Warren at 3. But the point is that Loveland's in that tier of high-end, quote-unquote, elite tight end production for Dynasty.
That's fine. I still, it's not. I'd rather have Mendoza and. So yeah, I'd rather have Mendoza and Nabers just because of the elite ceiling of Nabers. It's just so valuable to me. But I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I was kind of gonna go away from those two. Actually, talk a little bit about Genty for a second.
Well, I have
You guys
a
go.
question real quick, because just on that subject, would you rather? Who's your wide receiver 1 in Dynasty?
Puka.
yeah. Same.
Chase.
Okay. All right. Would you rather have him or McBride in a
And a 0.75, probably
Yeah.
McBride. Only thing about McBride is the quarterback situation scares me. But if you're just telling me in a vacuum,
Mhm.
what would I rather have? The tight end that put up whatever he put up, and it's like almost 400 points in 0.75 premium, or the receiver, I'm going to take the tight end.
I'd probably go with the wide receiver, even at a 0.75. It's close. It's really close. I think you're kind of nitpicking at that point, but it's just the instability at the tight end position, just year to year. There's not really been a Kelsey where they're just doing it every year since Kelsey. So, it's just tougher for me. Where I mean, wide receiver, like we haven't had consecutive wide receiver 1 finishes, I think, in a long time, but they're still like in the realm of that wide receiver 1 range, and they're still very close to the wide receiver 1 scoring. Where tight end, there's such a massive gap year to year on how players are being scored. Yeah, I just go with the wide receiver position.
That's where I'm at.
The one thing with this trade that I thought was the most interesting aspect to me, is just the overarching, I guess, strategy of it, right? Where I think the two sides are extremely close, and we're nitpicking on players, but we're also just nitpicking on the sides of the trade here. But team 1, from a safety standpoint, I mean, not from a safety standpoint, but from a flexibility standpoint, right? They have Malik Nabers. Yeah, they're probably locked into Nabers unless they're going to flip him if good news on the injury comes out, or the Giants don't draft a wide receiver and people are like, okay, he feels like a really good play this year. That's all great. 101, 102 still have room to grow as people get excited about the draft. And also it gives you time to where, you can sit on these picks and you can hunt trades the entire time, where guys like Ashton Genty, if things go wrong there, he is going to see a little bit of a bump down in Vegas if people don't like the moves the Raiders make, if they hire a really bad coaching staff in the opinions of a lot of people, if they don't build up the offensive line. Like there are going to be some questions and some doubts there, whereas everybody's just going to be really excited about the picks until the picks are made. So that's the flexibility those picks provide. Have me lean a little bit on that side. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, no, I think that can absolutely happen. Is someone can just get enamored with Jeremiah Love and be like, I'll give you, quarterback A. I don't know, try to think maybe T-Law and, James Cook or at plus. I don't know if that's even close, but that way you're turning that one pick that could be a running back into that quarterback. Maybe you're really weak at quarterback there too. So if you could get a haul for the 101 and like you said, it gets value, then why not have that intrigue, I guess. Doesn't happen a lot though, I'll say, that I've seen either.
What were you going to say about Genty, Mike?
I was just going to ask, I was shocked to see how many targets he had with 73 targets. I was wondering if you guys thought that's going to be sticky or if that was just a result of, holy crap, that offense was awful. And when Jacoby Myers left, they had no one else to throw the ball to, and Bowers was out.
It really feels like Saquon's rookie year when he got all those shit targets.
Well, I mean, the thing is, it doesn't matter because the whole team is different this year.
Yeah, I mean, we have
it doesn't matter at all. And that's my point is, right, like it's all depending on what happens this offseason for the Raiders. The whole offense is going to look different because they have the second most cap space in the league. The coaching staff's going to look completely different.
But to say it doesn't matter, I don't agree with that because like he caught 55 balls. So in a PPR league, like that's a big deal, especially at the running back position. Whereas if you said next year, hey, maybe Mendoza only gives him 40 targets. Like that'd be a pretty big difference. Does he make that up in the rushing or
what I'm saying
like
is I'm not saying that the targets themselves don't matter. I'm saying in the context of what he does next season, it doesn't matter because it's going to be a whole different set of circumstances and the opportunity might be completely different, right? Like there was no doubt that Genty could do that. It would be different if we were going into a year saying, well, Genty just can't catch the ball. He's never going to get targets. You see what I'm saying? Like we know Genty is capable of that. We just don't know if the new coaching staff is going to afford him the opportunities to see those targets or even more, right? So, it just depends on what happens this offseason.
Well, I think the hope would be is that I think the stat was 63% of his rushes he was hit behind the line of scrimmage this year.
Yeah,
I think that would be what you hope changes, even if the targets go down to 50. You would hope that he's able to at least get a yard or two on majority of his rushes before being touched, because then we will more likely see the running back we saw at Boise State that can break that one or two tackles in the second level and go to the house.
You also want to see the yards after contact come up a little bit more and him be able to do a little bit more with less because the circumstances were incredibly bad. The Raiders were a really bad team. They did no service to him. But he also didn't do as much with as bad as it was, at least for what I thought he was capable of doing. Like I thought there would be a little bit more there for him.
I think those go hand in hand. When you're getting hit behind the line of scrimmage, it's hard to create yardage after contact. You're not getting your feet moving.
I'm not saying that he should have been a god or anything. I'm just saying that I thought he would be able to do a little bit more with less. I knew it was going to be bad there. It's just some of the advanced metrics don't look really great. And
no, I agree.
So
I'm blaming the before contact part, like the before the line of scrimmage part, as to why he wasn't able to evade more of the tackles after contact.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how that looks. And like I keep reiterating, the cap space is huge there. So it's something we could be very excited about.
I like what you're saying about flexibility, though. If you think about what's going on in the NFL right now, almost half the league is going to have a new offense next year.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. So you can't expect it to just click for all these teams right away and all your favorite players are just going to go off. It's sort of feels like a defensive league at times anyway. When you don't have continuity in offensive systems, it takes a while for things to come together mid-season or whatever. So, preserving flexibility even through your rookie draft, maybe trading forward to 27, which is going to be difficult. seeing how stacked the 27 draft is looking. Even though a lot of those guys could defer to 28. So still, it's going to be difficult, but preserving flexibility, I think, is a really good point and a really good idea. Just because it's going to be a probably more chaotic than usual start to the season next year.
That's an incredible point, and one that I hadn't even thought of. But you're right. Like this is going to be the most competitive year for offensive coordinators hirings and that we've seen in some time.
So
with how many teams need offensive coordinators, and really good teams need offensive coordinators, like the Chargers and
the Eagles.
Yeah, the Eagles, and so it's going to be really, really competitive.
The Ravens with Lamar, you got an MVP that needs an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, and that's going to be even more reason to be scared for teams like the Browns and teams like the Raiders that don't even have head coaches yet. So if they don't get their head coaches signed soon, right? If they don't get their guy soon, it's just they're one step behind the 8 ball here. And then on top of that, they have to battle with these quote unquote elite offenses for these offensive coordinators, for the good offensive coordinators that are out there. So it's going to be tough for
someone's going to have to settle for Mike McCarthy. You know it.
Yeah. Or Kevin Patullo.
Oh no.
I don't think so.
I don't think that's happening. He's got to go to college for a while.
Just wait till the Raiders sign him.
Oh my God.
That kills both sides of this trade, just FYI.
Yeah, it does. It does.
You know, all that negative talk with Genty and the Raiders, that 102 or 101 is also going to be a Raider.
Yeah, really, really fun discussion, guys. Anything anybody else wants to add?
Nah, it was an incredible trade. Yeah, it's really props to your only guys. Yeah.
All right. Well, as Matthew McConaughey would say, if you've got a trade banger, put it in the Discord, in the chat, email it to us at dynfo.official@gmail.com, and we will get back to you probably. Thanks, guys. This has been the Trade Banger of the Week.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the front office. The lights are low.
Stay tuned. We're coming right back with Fernando Mendoza.
From the heart of the startup draft to the championship throne, one crew rules a long game. Give it up for the undisputed architects of empire.